Good evening, everybody, and welcome to yet another Night Writes. I'm your host, Jax Devora. I write fantasy, or at least I'm hoping to publish fantasy at some point, and you have stumbled across my bi-weekly stream. By bi-weekly, I mean it happens guaranteed twice a week, uh, but we'll get into that later on in the stream. If you've never been here before, I would suggest, if you aren't already on YouTube, get to YouTube by clicking on that link that you see on Blue Sky. And the reason why I recommend that you go and click that link is because beyond that link is an open chat. Inside that chat, you can basically say whatever you'd like. We are definitely switching the sound effects for this one. That is weird. But in any case, you can say whatever you'd like in the chat so long as it doesn't make people feel weird and so long as it doesn't violate YouTube's TOS. Please do not violate YouTube's TOS. I quite like my channel. There is an icebreaker for those of you who are shy. It's usually a writing question of some sort, just to kind of get you in the mood to talk about yourself. Today's is going to be a little bit of a silly one because I finished off my last Klondike bar. So if your MC was an ice cream flavor, what would they be and why? You know the type. Like, some people are straight vanilla, some people are a little bit chocolate, and a little bit interesting, a little bit fun with chocolate. There we go. Some people like a whole gamut of stuff, so they're Neapolitan, and then you get into like the mint chocolate chips, the real fun people, or the classy dark chocolate chip cherry flavor people, or even like the rum raisin who are super eccentric, but you know. But please do not take the earlier quote out of context. We are talking about ice cream flavors. You can also interpret it as what is your MC's favorite ice cream flavor, because that also tells you a lot about them as well. For example, I myself am one of those cherry dark chocolate chip kinds of people, and I don't know what that says about me, but there you go. I've always kind of been into the there has to be stuff in the ice cream to make it worthwhile. Mint chocolate chip used to be my favorite until I realized it triggered acid reflux. But in any case, we will get into that personal bit in a bit. But mull on that while I go through the rest of the spiel. And less than 30 minutes, the reason why we have 30 minutes is so that people can trickle on in and not miss anything. They'll trickle in, settle in, the whole 9 yards, so on and so forth. But at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time exactly, that is in 25 minutes from now, we will begin the first of 3 traditionally word sprints. Now, what are word sprints, you might ask? Word sprints are quite simple and straightforward. If you've never heard of those before, traditionally, I'll give you the traditional definition. Traditionally, they are sprints, periods of time in which you sit down and you write as much as you can. Now, how much time you get tends to depend on who you ask. For our purposes, it's usually 20 minutes, but I've seen half an hour, 25 minutes, I've seen a full-on hour, I've seen 10 minutes. It really doesn't matter so long as you give yourself enough time to kind of like get the ball rolling. At the end of those minutes, you take a break, you talk about how much progress you've done, and you can start in on another sprint if you want, or just sort of like chill out after that. Now, I will give you the Night Writes definition of sprint because we are very fast and loose with the definition of words and sprint. We do have a hard time limit. It's going to be 20 minutes each. You can see the timer in the top left-hand corner of your screen. During those 20 minutes, I don't care what you do so long as you improve your life in some way. I will be writing. Sometimes I'm editing, but I will be writing for this one. But you can write, you can edit, you can translate, you can plan, you can do art, you can do something that has nothing to do with creativity. I have had people do laundry, I've had people eat, I've had people sleep, I've had people do video game stuff. It really does not matter so long as you are devoting those 20 minutes to improving your life in some way. At the end of those 20 minutes, we will have a 15-minute break. During those 15 minutes, I will probably be talking at you. In the meantime, after you tell us what your progress was, and after we celebrate you, the idea is that you take a break. So you can get up, go get a drink of water, go use the bathroom, do whatever you'd like. At the end of those 15 minutes, we will start in on the next sprint, and we will do that a total of 3 times, 3 sprints, sandwiching breaks in between. So that is basically 3 sprints and 2 breaks, because the last break is really just me telling you what the weekly schedule will be and when to expect the next night rides. That all said, that all sounds great, right? Okay, cool. I am just going to take a little peek into the chat. There is really nobody in chat at the moment. To respond to my own icebreaker, I will say this. Mick Martin is straight fucking vanilla. Like, that man is not exactly the bland. He's not bland. It's just that he prefers something nice, quiet, and predictable. But also, you can dress up vanilla to be whatever you'd like. Because if you think about it, the base ice cream for a lot of really good ones is really just vanilla. Like your chocolate chip cookie doughs, your cookies, well, maybe, I don't know about cookies and cream. I think that's like a cream flavored ice cream, depending on what you get. But like, your, for sure chocolate chip cookie dough, for sure like chocolate chip, the dark chocolate cherry stuff, all of those ones with the cool mix-ins, it's really just vanilla ice cream with a bunch of other stuff. So it's really all the other stuff that livens up an that particular ice cream flavor. Or, you know, you can just go with classy French vanilla too. And vanilla doesn't have to be boring. Sometimes it's actually very classy and palate cleansing. And that is Mick Martin. Although he'll probably just say, I just fucking like regular ice cream, boring, just one flavor vanilla ice cream. It's ice cream. You don't need to dress it up. Eleanor is definitely Neapolitan. Though she will probably also be like, so I think Haagen-Dazs doesn't make this anymore, but it used to make Bailey's Irish ice cream flavor. She would be that. It was like Bailey's Irish cream flavored with chocolate chip mixed in, and it was so good. But I have not been able to find it since like the mid-2010s, and I'm sad. I hope that's not actually discontinued, and it's just that my grocery stores are all wusses about it. But in any case, it's delicious. I think some places, like, I used to live in Boston, and one of the things I would do is go to like JP Licks, which is only like up in New England. And I think that every single JP Licks in Boston that I've been to, of course, had Bailey's Irish cream. So I kind of hope that they still do. Not me actually looking into this, because nobody's stopping me. Oh, what the hell? They actually have sandwiches at JP Licks? What is this? Anyway. I'm just kind of taking a peek real quickly. They have fresh cucumber as a flavor. What the fuck? Aww. Wait, hold on. Myers Rum and Raisin, that was also a really good one, actually, believe it or not. Oh, they have just the rum and raisin and not the Bailey's Irish cream. Does nobody do Bailey's Irish cream ice cream anymore? What's with that? Anyway, on to like Bohemia and Beeslingers. Honeysuckle is I mean, I'd hate to be predictable, haha. But it's probably like honey themed. Like I don't know about I don't know how many people have actually watched the Muppet movie from like the 1970s, but there was this scene when the Muppets, like Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo, and Camilla, the chicken, go to a fair, and that's where they meet Miss Piggy. And at one point, Kermit asks Fozzie to go off and get them ice cream cones, and I've always been intrigued by the ice cream flavors that he got for them, because I think one of them, the one for Kermit, was like fly, like a fly based one, and like the most disgusting sounding one that you could possibly think of. And then Fozzie had like Honey Crunch, and I'm like, Honey Crunch sounds amazing. So that would be Honeysuckles, Honey Crunch. As for, ice cream flavors that actually exist, I don't know, I think she would also be like a cherry one. Kind of like very sweet and a little bit punchy, but you wouldn't expect it to be. So actually, now that I think about it, maybe she is the Myers rum raisin. I'm also looking at Haagen-Dazs, because I need to know, do they make the Bailey's Irish Cream flavored ice cream anymore? Or has it been discontinued? Let's see, ice cream flavors. We're doing this, Maya. We're doing this, chat. We are, yes, Irish cream brownie. That they do. Holy shit, they actually do. It is so good, everybody. It is so fucking good. But where do you buy it? I'm looking this up. Oh, it's one of those stupid limited flavors, so you can't really get it everywhere. That is sad. Maybe? Oh, it's not actually. It's showing me the shops, not the actual. I don't know. Although apparently, let me see something real quick. Find a shop. Yeah, I'm not actually going to devote too much more time to this, but that makes me feel delighted. Irish cream flavored ice cream still exists, and it is so good. I keep saying that, but it really is. Go and, if you can find it, even the Haagen-Dazs one, and I know what people say about Haagen-Dazs, it's like nothing compared to the high-end stuff like Ben & Jerry's and Talenti, but it's still so good, and I do miss that flavor so much. Man. So anyway, I'm changing my answer. Honeysuckle is definitely the Irish cream brownie one. Peony is definitely the dark chocolate cherry one. Just because she is very elegant and very, she's very with it, as it were. Like, she's put together. There are reasons why she wasn't sent out. I've mentioned this in the last stream. Like, she was a scout as well, but they chose to send out Honeysuckle on the journey to go find help because the actual scouts were worn down to the point where they can no longer make the trip all that often. And we kind of see little peeks of Peony in this chapter. Like, I posted that excerpt today of Peony in the communal dining hall coming out of it, and she's covered in flour because she's a baker now. And that's basically what she's been reduced to, essentially. Not saying that there's anything wrong with Bakers, but it's more like she used to be able to fly for miles and cover so much ground, and her endurance was amazing. And now she can't really do that much. She can't even fly to the next county over. Instead, she is stuck. She's not even in the mines, and this should probably be a little hint. But I'm not 100% sure how far I want to go with Peony, whether it's going to be a permanent thing where she no longer has the strength to do much, or if she is just temporarily exhausted because the bees have been worked to near death. But for certain, there's no way that she could have done what Honeysuckle did. So there's that. Besides that, there's also Arthur and Cedric, and I feel bad about this. So I will confess, Blue Pit is around the corner, but I will not be pitching Bohemia, because now that I have 2 works in progress that are actually being written, it feels a little bit disingenuous to advertise the one that's still in the planning stage. So I don't want to. I feel a little bit like I'm ignoring Cedric and Arthur, but I just needed to tell Honeysuckle's story first as this break, and then the next one is going to be Cedric and Arthur and Bohemia. But in any case, the next one for the next break that I take from TNS, which will again be in hopefully September or October, somewhere in the fall. I'll take a break for Nano in order to do that. But anyway, getting back to their ice cream flavors, Cedric is definitely green tea. It's an acquired taste and very sophisticated, and definitely not for everybody. And a little bit bitter, more bitter than sweet. Not saying that Cedric himself is like cynical or anything like that. It's more like Cedric is very not a joking kind of person, in the sense that he does have a sense of humor. He will laugh. He does not tell jokes. And Arthur is basically just a sundae with Pop Rocks in it. Like, it's probably like one of those fun flavors. Like, I learned about Moon Mist recently, and it sounds absolutely god awful and chaotic. No, I'm very sorry, Canadians, but I had like artificial grape to begin with. I absolutely hate artificial grape, so anything with it mixed, like quote unquote mixed in, does not sound appealing to me anyway. But the flavor combinations of Moon Mist kind of sound like it doesn't quite work for me. I'm sure that I would like it more if I actually tried it, but then again, it's like that grape flavor. I don't know, man. But probably that, or like there are other blue ice creams across like the continent of North America, like blue swirls and whatnot. One of those really fun regional flavors with Pop Rocks mixed in. That's Arthur. But yeah, 10 minutes to go, and I admit it seems like it's going to be a very quiet stream, and that is totally a-okay in my book. If you're still viewing on Blue Sky, feel free to drop into the chat via the link. If not, I hope you enjoy the stream. We'll be starting our first sprint in about 10 minutes. And if you do join the chat, just tell me how you're doing. I am delighted to be back at it again. Like, I'm still feeling my way through this draft. I don't know how whether or not it 100% works. In certain places, it feels like it's just conversations. But that's kind of my writing style in general. Like, a lot of character interactions. I'm not a huge fan of writing up action, which is kind of funny and terrible because I should really learn how to do that properly. Same thing with set dressing, or definitely clothing descriptions. That's another big one that I am terrible at, because I know I'm terrible at it because one of my betas is sort of like, I really want you to describe these clothes more so that I can understand how the dragon wings work. I mean, she didn't say it like that. I'm paraphrasing. But I can't believe this is what gets me to read more Sarah J. Maas. Because I have been told that those have really good descriptions, and I am very much willing to add in more descriptions to my work. And especially this one, especially Beastslingers, because I do feel like it is going by very fast, so if I can add more in to slow it down a little bit, a-okay. But I will be doing research soon. Eventually, I am currently reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is also a lot of fun and teaching me about very breezy narratives. But I think the next one that I'm going to have to get just to get my hands on will have to be like A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like, a friend of mine is trying to get me to read more of A Throne of Glass. I've read the first book of A Throne of Glass. And I do need to read the rest, but she also specifically said that if I wanted to actually look for descriptions and study description work, it's a good idea to look into A Court of Thorns and Roses. And cool, I will skim through the spicy bits, I suppose. But yeah, that is what's going on. So far, we are on chapter 7 right now. And we are falling a little bit behind. That's why I built up a lot of words over the weekend, because I know that how my job works. I know I'm going to be run down a lot. So, and the first half of this week was indeed pretty rough. And even now I'm feeling a little bit tired. But we're going to try to keep things up. My aim is to get at least 1,000 words on the page this week. Or not this week, but tonight. We've already done 1,000 words this week. But like, 1,000 words tonight would be awesome. In any case, 5 minutes until the first sprint. So if you haven't gotten to your documents and you would like a little ride along, get to your documents now. If you have just joined us, feel free to drop into the chat and tell us what you're working on, or say hello in general. I will give your earlobes a break and let you just listen to the music for just a few minutes. Give my voice a break too. Again, less than 5 minutes to go. Holy fuck, what? Sorry, just 1 second. that was interesting. Apparently, welcome to the city, I suppose. Somebody hit it. I don't know what exactly happened. I think somebody hit a telephone pole out there, so that's fun. Anyway, doesn't matter. It is 8:59, so if you're not already in your seats, get to your seats. Take a deep breath in. Let it out slowly. One more time, deep breath in. And out slowly. Nine o'clock on the dot. We're going to see how... It's apparently going to be a fun background noise, and I do apologize if you hear it, but 20 minutes are on the clock. Get ready, get set, and here we go. All right, that is our first break. How did we do? It is still an interesting whatever's going on out there, but let's see, here we go. 321 words, which is not all that bad for a first round. Sometimes you just live in a very interesting neighborhood. It's also kind of difficult for me to concentrate for various reasons. Welcome to Wednesday, I suppose. Anyway, just one quick second and I will be back to chatter at you. Anyway, I mean, I live in a decent neighborhood for sure, so you'll have to excuse the other streams have not had this much commotion. I think it's just like the first really good day in a while. Like, we've just gotten through our heat wave, and there had been several days of just dog shit weather. So now it's like the week after the 4th, and people are still wound up. They haven't been able to leave their houses in a bit, or they had, but it was just absolute not recommended. So it's now like people are now just wilding out there. But I guess that's also why I kind of mostly keep to myself. Like, I don't mind people, and I love living in a city environment. I like the idea of being able to go out and see something new and interesting and all the convenience that comes with it. But hilariously, I'm not as much of a people person. Like, I prefer quiet. I prefer, just doing my own thing, that kind of thing. But I would never trade living in the city for real, real out in the wilderness suburban life. First off, relearning how to drive, man. I don't know about that part. But in any case, my signature in any case. Other than that, it's pretty chill here. And I hope that, on that note, concerning the weather, I hope that it just maintains where it is right now. Like, if it gets any hotter, it's going to be uncomfortable again. And I kind of don't want to turn my air conditioner back on. I don't mind using an air conditioner, but it's sort of like I need to get mine serviced, man. Like, it's just another expense and another hassle and another trying to plan around stuff. But, otherwise, I love it whenever it's in the 60s, 70s, maybe low 80s, when it's not super duper humid, so you can just breathe and you're comfortable in short sleeves and shorts, and you can go out for walks and not feel like you're dying, and come back home and just sort of chill without having to expend a lot of energy to chill. Like, and when I say energy, I mean like not just electricity, but also actual physical energy, because I feel absolutely god awful whenever it gets super hot. So I am sincerely hoping that it stays this way. And in fact, I might be going to get my phone real quick to check the weather. P.S. No, I never did figure out what that huge ass bang was, but it's kind of funny because at the same time, whenever you live in a neighborhood that's like interesting but not like super interesting, if you know what I mean, you'll have people you'll have people doing dumb shit, doing dumb shit very loudly. Then you'll have people looking out and just sort of poking their head out, trying to see what's up, then deciding it's not worth making it their business and going right back inside. So that's what I was looking out there and just trying to discern what was going on. That was literally what was happening. It was great. Anyway, looking at the weather report, we are climbing back up, I guess. At the very least, this weekend's gonna be nice. And honestly, I just want this weekend to be nice. I'm going to be taking Benjamin out this weekend. It looks like Saturday's going to be partly sunny and 86. Sunday's going to be 85, mostly sunny. I know I should stick around for one of those days. And I say that because I should be working on new graphics for Blue Pit. The Nameless song is not getting a new graphic. Fuck that. I mean, I love the Nameless song, but I feel also like I don't want to say I'm disappointing anybody, but like when I first pitched the Nameless song, it was with a bunch of people that I have been watching over time finish their novels and then query and then be successful with that, or they've finished their novel and they've self-published, and here I am on draft 7. And I think that's part of the reason why I just don't have... I love the story, I love the characters, I don't have my heart in it as much as I used to. And I'd hate to, blame the last disastrous read of it, but, it was just a lot, and I don't know. It's rough coming back to it, but it's like I have rewritten that story so many times. I've worked on it for so long, and I feel like if I'm real, I feel like I'm disappointing people with it, because like people come in and they meet me and they get excited about that one idea, and then it never comes out. And this is the second time that I've done that. Well, actually, technically third, but I didn't really talk about the Arcadia all that often. This isn't to say anything of the fanfics that I started and then just sort of eventually never really finished. Although, hilariously, I would actually finish at all of them. It's just that I never really posted the ending. For one reason or another. Mostly just nobody really wanted to finish it with me, and and at the very end, the last one, I just kind of jumped ship from fanfiction and moved on to original fic, and I was like, I have the ending, it's just that I don't want to actually can hang around long enough to post it. So here's a huge ass summary of where it was going to go. But with the original work, I've been working on original work in some capacity since 2020. October 2020, in fact, because my first foray into it, my first serious foray into it, I was planning it for NaNoWriMo, and I actually did do it for NaNoWriMo, and it sucked. So I put it on the shelf, and it's a product that I come back to every now and then to write a chapter whenever I really feel like I want to work on comedy for some reason. But then I moved on to a novella that I have never published, or at least I've published the first draft of it because it was part of original fic Big Bang on Tumblr. But I was supposed to come back and turn it into a publishable book, and then I just decided to put it on the back burner because it was just so weird that I didn't think that anybody would actually want to buy it. So, I mean, except in an indie publishing capacity. So it's floating there. It's on the furthest back burner. It was going to have a sequel. It's no longer going to have a sequel. It's going to be a standalone book if I ever get back to it. Then there's the Nameless song, and I've been working on this since 2022, 2023, 2022, I think. Maybe. Something like that. No, 2023, because it was the last year that I lived in Queens. The last full year. So actually, yeah, it's only been a few years, but still, it just feels like it's been forever, and I've been talking about this forever, and I haven't produced the results that people are expecting, and that's kind of affecting the way that I'm working on it. So I am growing less enthusiastic about pitching it, which is also the actual reason why I haven't been pitching as often. That and the fact that real life has gotten just so hectic the past few pitch events that I just did not have time or the energy to do it. Uh, but this coming Blue Pit, I absolutely do want to pitch that, but most of my energy is actually going to go towards pitching Beaslingers. You might even get to hear what the title is, because there is a title for Beaslingers. It's the actual title. Like, it's not a placeholder or anything. It is the title. I have not shared it on Blue Sky just yet because I didn't know how far I would go with this project. But I do need to make graphics. I have a vision for what graphics I need to make, and it's going to involve me learning how to do a sketch layer or a line art layer. So that's going to be fun. But it's going to be fun in the sarcastic sense, but also fun in the fun sense. Or at least I hope so. But I do need time to do that. On the other hand, it's also the weekend, and I'm not gaming as often as I used to. Like, I haven't even touched Final Fantasy lately. Like, I'm still working on my character there, but it's less of an important thing because my FC is basically just scattered. We all have our lives, all have stuff going on, so it's harder and harder to come together and just sit down and do stuff. But I don't know, I just haven't really touched games as often as I used to, and that's both good and bad. But because, now it's like writing is fun, but sometimes you need something that just lets you turn your brain off, But then again, that's what reading is for too. And Dungeon Crawler Carl is a very turn your brain off kind of book. Same thing with audiobooks. I had just finished The Final Girl Support Group, by the way, by Grady Hendrix. Excellent book. I think I actually rank it above Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, but still below Horror Store and How to Sell Your Haunted House, by the way. How to Sell a Haunted House. So I am slowly making my way through Grady Hendrix's entire bibliography. I just love that. And yet I'm not, I just love his writing, and yet I'm not a horror author. Go figure. But I just love how he has a way of tearing out your soul through horror. Like, making you cry hard because you just feel for the characters. And you kind of get it with the Final Girl Support Group, but it's like not as visceral as it is with How to Sell a Haunted House or a Horror Store. Like, I was fucking bawling at those two. It was amazing. But for certain, I also kind of feel like it said a lot of what Horror Store said, but less. But anyway, I will stop yapping about books. Maybe we'll continue on afterwards. It is currently 20 more minutes on the clock, so I will see you on the other side. that is our second sprint. How did we do? I have to admit, it was a little bit rough going to start off, but here we go. 436 floors. I had a feeling it was in the 400 range. But, yeah, okay, so we're kind of... We're only at 700 words so far. Hopefully the next one I can hit a little bit harder, maybe get up into the 400 range so that I can at least cross that line over the 1,000 mark that I was hoping for. If not, you know, is what it is. But so far so good. Anyway, it's not bad for not really knowing what to do with this chapter or the chapter before. Basically what's going on is that I have a couple of So the idea is that the bee person, Honeysuckle, has hired a party to go after this one man. That's the part that y'all know about. The other part is that they've just arrived to the Zizun shantytown, and I could have spent a little bit of time beforehand setting things up, having the Aces High, the party of adventurers, prepare before leaving. But time seemed to be of the essence, and also it was just like I kind of skipped over that part. That might be something that I'll think about for a later version of the story. But in any case, or at least like an additional chapter that explains why this other thing has to happen, but basically there are 4 members of the Aces High, and one of them is a reconnaissance expert. She is a tracker. Her name that is Leha, and she is going to sneak into the town of San Valentino, get a lay of the land, try to locate the queen, essentially case the joint, and try to gather information as to Doc McQueen, the antagonist's weaknesses, his habits, his usual daily routes, where he spends most of his time, all within the space of a few hours, so that they can formulate a plan in order to figure out how to extract the queen safely and keep Doc McQueen from chasing after the Zizun. Right now, I'm kind of building up the idea that there's something weird about San Valentino. And the way that it works is that San Valentino is a fairly new city. It was originally settled. I'm going to probably be doing spoilers, but one of the things I do during the 15-minute breaks is kind of like bounce ideas off of folks, especially, and Rubber Duck, especially if there's not really a chat going on. But basically, San Valentino was only founded and built I'd say a few years ago. That is something that I might need to change. It is not really on any map because it's not connected to anything. It is along the banks of the Wanderer River, which is the only major river in that region. But it had a reputation beforehand of being just a little sleepy town for folks who wanted to get away from every other hustle and bustle and just sort of build things up on their own. Then they found out that there was silver in the mines, and basically what happened is, I really do need to work out the history of this town. I think I'm going to have to fix a lot of the surrounding lore, because I feel like Leha would know what this town is. Essentially, it was a silver mining town, or it was a tin mining town, I suppose, and then it turned into a silver mining one. But it was always a mining town, and it was always kind of like a little blip on the map compared to every other town in the area. But a couple years ago, that's whenever you started hearing about the silver, and there was no actual rush for mysterious reasons. Like, there was news of the silver there, but nobody was going into it. Or at least, that's the part that I'm fuzzy on. I feel like nobody would have gone in there because anybody who goes in there gets enthralled by Doc McQueen. And they're added to his numbers either by courtesy of himself or through his brother, who's a blood mage. So Doc McQueen is a heart mage, a very powerful one, and he uses mind control spells, which is a taboo spell, making him essentially a rogue mage, and that's the kind of mage that the Aces High specialize in taking down. It's anybody who uses magic in a way that defies the unwritten rules of society. So, like, there are certain things that you're not supposed to do with magic. So, for example, you're not supposed to mind control people if you have heart magic. You're not supposed to kill people if you have general elemental magic. You're not supposed to fuck around with the timeline if you have time magic. It's not exactly a physical limitation, it's a societal expectation that you have. And Doc McQueen specializes in using taboo heart magic to do his dirty work, but his brother is a blood mage. And his brother uses blood magic, also in a taboo way, to puppet people. So it's either that you're mind controlled by Doc McQueen, or you're literally conscious in your own body, but your body is not your own. And yes, that often does end in death. So if you're controlled by Doc McQueen's brother, then you're fucked. The two of them can also cast a combined spell of taboo magic, which forces somebody into an eternal sleep. That's, spoilers, what happened to the Queen. But they have been using these magics to wreak havoc on this town. So they have essentially taken over the town. There are actual people there who were there since the beginning, since before Doc McQueen went there, and they are essentially literal or mind-controlled puppets of the brothers. And the brothers had used them to essentially build a resort town. So to the outsiders, it is a town that is now flourishing because there's silver there. But anybody who goes there is just immediately settled in, quote unquote, by which I mean that they are basically Stepfordized, and they are integrated into the population, or they're turned into one of McQueen's minions, and they do his dirty work. But beforehand, like, Doc McQueen would enthrall anybody who came into the town. That's how the town got built up, from like this random blip on the map to this rich people resort town. But it's also why there's not too much news going out of the town, and why nobody knew that the town had grown up from just like this random collection of shacks that there are supposedly silver in, to a definite silver hotspot with the nicest buildings you had ever seen. It was actually their workforce. But then Doc McQueen encountered a Zizun swarm that had gone through the valley and was heading further west, but stopped at this town that they thought was a-okay because there are nice people there. They're all smiling, they're all happy. It seems like a good place to stop. So they stopped there, and Doc McQueen realized that it doesn't take much to subjugate them. All it does is, one needs to do is subjugate one specific Zizun, and the Zizun will fall in line. And that was a lot easier than holding a bunch of mind-controlled zombies. So he essentially had his brother call the population, and down to only the puppets that they absolutely were going to use, and they forced the Zizun into the mines. And now the Zizun have complete free will, but they continuously work the mines because they don't think that they're strong enough to take on Doc McQueen and his brother, and also Doc McQueen and his brother have their queen. So it's like a whole bunch of stuff. But the long story and short of it is, I think I just figured out why Leia has not really heard too much about this town, which is going to help me in the long run if I can remember literally everything that I just said. But long story short, it's essentially that it was a kind of tiny town that mined a low quality metal, whatever is usually found next to silver. That's going to be my next research thing. But then they found silver, and that enticed Doc McQueen to settle there, set up shop, and mind control anybody who went within like a few miles radius of that town to add to his puppets that he worked literally to death. Until, of course, he found a better way to do that then. But so, in other words, it was not actually as nice as it was, or it's not actually as bad off as it was back whenever Leia would have gotten information on it. It is literally a brick city now, a place for rich people, a budding resort town on the shores of this beautiful river and this beautiful plains. But it's all artificial. It's all been built within the past couple of years by a mind-controlled population that wasn't allowed to leave. There we go. I think that'll work. It's a lot. I've definitely spoiled a shit ton of stuff. I do apologize, but I did need to yammer on in order to figure that out. I do feel a lot better about it. But I will have to work that into the story at this point, I think. Anyway, less than 2.5 minutes until our very last sprint. I should probably take a note about that. Or at least, let me just write it down real quick. One thing that, I don't care for with the ellipsis is that you have no way of leaving notes for yourself. So, in Scrivener, you have the option to leave sticky notes everywhere. You can highlight bits and leave inline comments, but with ellipsis, you really can't. Ellipsis says, Anna has just joined the chat. Anna says, I'm here now just in time for the last one. Totally cool, and also welcome. I'm going to go quiet just for a bit. last sprint has begun. I will see you in 20 minutes. Good luck! was good timing because I just put down the final words of this chapter. That means I'm diving right into chapter 8 tomorrow. We are a chapter behind if we were hoping to do one a day. But it is what it is. At the very least, I managed. But anyway, how did we do? Let me try to... Here it is. Okay. 617 words. That is awesome. That means... Let me actually go back up. That brings our total for today to 1399. That is still technically under the daily quota for Camp NaNoWriMo, but it's not as bad as yesterday's count was. And again, I have written a surplus of words for exactly this reason. I do need to pick it up either tomorrow or, well, probably not tomorrow because tomorrow's D&D night. Definitely Friday though. Yeah, tomorrow I'm probably only doing the minimum 500 that I need. But we are going to see. It's going to be a thing. I might be doing D&D and writing at the same time. It's great. But that having been said, I do hope that your run was also excellent. Because I hit the very end of a chapter, I am just going to call it for right now. Let me actually track bear that though, just because I am going to forget how many words that was. I already forgot how many words that was. Hold on. Okay, 1399. Enter progress. 1399. There we go. Alright, progress logged. Not too bad. Alright. Yeah, I am on TrackBear, so if you are also on TrackBear, feel free to let me know, and we can make leaderboards or whatnot. I don't know how that works. I'm very new to Trackboard, but what have you. Okay, so let me talk about the schedule for the rest of the week. So I mentioned that tomorrow I have D&D night. That is still a thing that's going on. So no stream for certain. Friday is a maybe stream. I had mentioned ages ago that I might do a spare stream then. If it happens, keep an eye on my Blue Sky account, jaxdevora.bsky.social. I never use the community tab on YouTube, so I do not announce streams until they happen on YouTube. You can hit the bell to get subscribed so that whenever I do go live, you get notifications. However, again, I don't know how long it takes before those notifications go off, so go out, that is. So the more reliable way to find out whether or not I'm streaming is really just following me on Blue Sky. However, our next regular stream will be the morning of the 11th. So that's this coming Saturday, July 11th, 8:30 in the morning to whenever, probably 10:30 and also in the morning. We will be running sprints, having breakfast, chilling out. It's going to be a Saturday morning hullabaloo or whatnot. After that, I'm planning on taking Benjamin into the town so that I can show him the High Line and have fun, because I haven't been out to the city, and well, that's a lie. I have been to the city, but it's like just on my own doing it, taking Benjamin to things, and I do miss that. So I kind of want to choose a place, choose a venue. Maybe I'll go out both days, because second Sunday for Ingress is also this coming Sunday, but that's neither here nor there. You care about the sprints. Anna says, I was mostly just tidying up my story. It needs to be edited soon. That is still really good. I congratulate you on the tidying that you were doing and the prepping, because you're hyping yourself up for editing. Anyway, so the next guaranteed stream will be April 11th, July 11th, this coming Saturday at 8:30 in the morning a.m. all the way to whenever. That's Eastern Standard Time. There might be a stream on the 10th. Keep an eye on jaxdevora.bsky.social. I'm going into the city immediately afterwards, so it's unlikely that there's going to be an extra stream on Saturday night. Not sure about Sunday. We'll see how things go. I might also be out and about then, and if so, no stream Sunday. Again, keep an eye on my Blue Sky account for surprise streams. Then probably not Monday, Tuesday, then the next regular night rides. That's one of these nightly streams starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time until about 10:30, 11. That next one will be on July 15th. So drop in. If you're more of a night person, just hang out either again on my Blue Sky or wait for the next guaranteed stream on the 15th. So to summarize all my rambliness, guaranteed streams 8:30 a.m. on July 11th. Sprints to start at 9 a.m. Next guaranteed night stream is July 15th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. There might be surprise streams. Most likely, the next surprise stream would be on Friday, but we'll see how it goes. These things I always play them by ear. That's why it's, maybe I do them, maybe I don't. In any case, though, thank you for dropping by, whether you're lurking or if you just dropped in. I do apologize that it's been kind of a quick run with you, Anna. I do thank you for coming nonetheless. I'm going to cut it off here. I've definitely rambled enough, and also, you know how I don't like to start a new chapter when, I've just finished the last one. I don't like it to be like, okay, I'm going to dive in and then get the momentum going and then be like, all right, I've just run out of steam. So we're calling it there. I will most likely see you. I might see you on Friday. I will definitely see you on Saturday morning. I hope y'all come in for any of those shenanigans. If not, I'll see you next week on the 15th, same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, take care of yourselves. Always hydrate. Know that I love you. And have a good writing week. Good night, everybody.